Welcome back to another episode of The Truth Behind the Face. My name is Katora and I am your co-host for this actual episode today. Today we are going to be talking about magic alchemy. So before we get into it, because I do not want to waste no time, please get your pens and your papers and your drinks and your food because it's going to be a lot of information and I do not want you to miss anything that is going on. Now, a lot of people believe that magic alchemy, or people within the spiritual community, are actually transcending negative energy or negative powers, which is black magic, into positive or light magic, which is not possible because the origin of the actual magic does not change. Matter of fact, the origin of magic or magic alchemy actually has been out for decades. Magic has been out since the Sumerians and the Canaanite biblical times, right? Where the Sumerians people actually believed that they were created as co-laborers with deities to help hold all forces of chaos to help keep the world running smoothly. So the Sumerians originally had followed Semiramis, which was another deity for Nimrod and Tammuz. Now, in return of the Sumerians actually getting protection and finding favor by these deities, they believed that they had to show appreciation by giving them human sacrifices, which is a form of blood magic. They would usually use the Hebrews or people that did not believe in their actual belief system for these rituals and these ceremonies that were being held for these appreciations and sacrifice towards their deity. They would perform it on their actual temple. And here's the crazy part. The same temple that they would perform it on was supposed to be that temple that Solomon had actually made for a resting place where you would pray, meditate, talk to the Most High, and also sleep before you continue on your travels. They wind up taking over that temple over a course of time and using it for sacrifices. Now, even for the Canaanites, they did worship a lot of the times, which a lot of people had no idea, which was their deity, Moloch. Now, Moloch was actually mentioned in the Bible of Leviticus multiple times for people that may or may not know. It was a deity that actually thrived off of children's sacrifices, honestly. The Canaanites would actually use their children as sacrifices and would actually place the kids on top of the actual golden statue and light the statue on fire, unfortunately. So the kids would be used as sacrificial rituals, to be honest. Now, if you look at the actual name Moloch, it originally derives from the combining of a Hebrew king, Melish, and the vowels of Boshet, which is shame. So Moloch is actually supposed to be king of shame. He is also known as Baal, which if you look into Baal, Baal is connected to Baphomet. Now, Moloch was also practiced amongst the Hebrews for a period of time, where they had started combining two beliefs, which was the Egyptians' beliefs and the Hebrew beliefs. And it was actually forbidden. That's why Moses had actually made those laws for it, actually forbidding the actual Hebrews for devoting their actual children to Moloch and informing them that they do not follow the Canaanites or the Assyrians, which is Egyptian beliefs. Now, it actually talks about this or makes reference about this in the Bible, which is 2 Kings chapter 21, verse 6, where it's talking and asking them, have they been influenced by the Assyrians, which are the Sumerians, and it goes back to Egyptian mythology, right? Keep in mind that with all of this going on, because they very much did believe all of this, they already had the idea of magic alchemy. They were already practicing it within the Egyptian mythology. That's what they did, was practice the Egyptian mythology, because they believed that if they actually showed these appreciations towards the deities, they would find favor and give them abilities and also immortality as well. Now, we're going into magic alchemy. I want y'all to watch this small clip and then I'll come back and finish.
Mention of the Philosopher's Stone dates back around 300 AD to ancient Greece and can be found in the Kyrikomeda by Zosimos of Panopolis. But some alchemical writers claim that its history goes back even further to the time of Adam, who acquired knowledge of the stone directly from God. They claim that it was knowledge of the stone that gave the early biblical patriarchs their unnaturally long lives. In any case, the idea of the Philosopher's Stone had taken hold and continued to advance. The concept further developed in the medieval Islamic world, notably through the work of influential alchemists like Jabir ibn Hayyan. It was his work that laid the foundation for later alchemical practices in the Islamic world and in Europe. He introduced essential processes and apparatus to alchemy and wrote over 300 texts on the subject. This knowledge eventually permeated into medieval Europe, where the concept of the Philosopher's Stone became integral to Western alchemical practices and theories. In European alchemy, figures like Albertus Magnus, Roger Bacon, and the Swiss physician Paracelsus played crucial roles in shaping the lore of the Philosopher's Stone. Paracelsus believed that there existed an undiscovered element called alkahest, from which all other elements, that is, earth, fire, water, and air, are derived. He believed that this unknown element was the famous Philosopher's Stone. This is why the symbol for the Philosopher's Stone features each of the symbols of the four elements fused together. His theory of the stone as the fifth element. He writes, spirit and soul and body and four elements. The fifth, which they furnish, is the Philosopher's Stone. Alchemists believed that everything was composed of spirit, soul, and body. The four elements are traditional, but the fifth element is the Philosopher's Stone, symbolizing a transcendent essence beyond the physical. They believed that the Philosopher's Stone contained the essence of all four classical elements: earth, air, fire, and water, and that these were combined perfectly, symbolizing the ultimate balance and perfection.
Now, within the spiritual community, unfortunately, you see how a lot of the similarities of what they was talking about with the Philosopher's Stone falls into the spiritual community's beliefs as well, unfortunately, where they believe that they practice magic alchemy to the fullest, which is the spiritual community alchemy. They would aim for spiritual enlightenment, and they would also pursue it for the Philosopher's Stone. Now, they believe that the Philosopher's Stone actually gave them wisdom and would give them possibly immortality. This is why when they do ceremonial magic, they do believe in using all four elements in the spell casting. The spells usually consist of one out of four elements or all four elements. It really just depends on what actual ritual or spell they're actually trying to make, because depending on the actual spell depends on how much or what element they need based on all of four of the elements. Now, the fifth element, they thought it was themselves, which is they need a soul to actually bring life to it. This is where the Philosopher's Stone comes in, because they believe that the Philosopher's Stone would complete this actual spell casting. And now, if you actually combine two of the elements, which is the water and the fire sign, it actually makes the Seal of Solomon, which the Seal of Solomon is the ring. It's a magic ring that actually gave power. And Solomon used it, and it was said to believe that Solomon actually used this ring to gain power over demons, that he had the ability to command demons to do whatever he wanted. It was also stated that Solomon had commanded demons to come up from hell and take him down to hell so he can study their ideology and come back as well and teach it. All of this is that they're asking for this actual ring, the Solomon's ring. Lord of the Rings actually makes reference to this ring the entire time during the movies. They just call it a different ring. Now, the ring, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing it wrong, is actually stated to be Andalib ring. Andalib ring. I'm going to put it up top so y'all can see it as well. And it is Solomon's ring, which is Solomon's seal. With all of that they were doing, they were actually trying esoteric magic, which is esoteric. If you want the definition or the dictionary term for esoteric, it's a small group, especially one with specialized knowledge or interest in mysteriousness. When you actually make that connection, right? Not only was that esoteric, but esoteric is not known or suitable for the public's eyes. With all of that being said, esotericism, which is different religions / groups within the occult, such as Kabbalah, Rosicrucian, ceremonial magic, alchemy, and astrology, and way more, has been used and actually adopted within multiple groups throughout the time. And it's actually been now here modernized into spiritualism, Wicca, and New Age. So a lot of these people that within spiritualism, they have the ideology that you can actually transmute, and that they're following the Philosopher's Stone without even knowing that they're following esotericism magic, which is ultimately a magic alchemy. Keep in mind, right? With magic alchemy, there's always going to be a blood sacrifice required. They do not do animal sacrifices because the higher that you go, they believe within a consciousness, it requires a bigger sacrifice than before. So this is why I tell people that there's no way that you can actually transmute this negative energy or negative magic, which is black magic, into light or positive energy, because the origin of the magic isn't originally bad. It is dark magic. They are still requiring the same things. These are people that are looking to actually benefit off of it and reaching to their desires by actually following these actual teachings and actually following these requirements as well. But again, this is only but so much that goes on. As we wrap up this actual episode, I want y'all to understand that there's way more, but I wanted y'all to fully understand first before I get in depth on the next episode on what this exactly means and how can it harm you. Because once you are doing this actual magic and you are doing blood magic per se, right? They are requiring you to actually give sacrifices. Again, these are deities, demons that are requiring sacrifices in order for you to reap benefits. You do not get immortality. They are not sure that it gives immortality. They are reaching for it for power. And at the end of the day, your bloodline, this is how generational curses this is one way of it being made. Your bloodline is actually being cursed because you are making or unknowingly making deals with demons and deities and entities that are making you participate in their sacrifices, their actual requirements and rituals in order for them to collect more souls. So I really want y'all to think twice and do your research and looking into this before y'all fully invest yourself in spiritualism and things of that nature. Because keep in mind, right? If you look into the Bible, there was never any religion to begin with. There was a way of life. So if you actually go deep into this, you would realize that black magic was not really noticed at all until the Sumerians and Canaanites. And that's really when they started dabbling in dark magic, black occultic magic. And it's just been transformed and adopted. But until next time, the truth behind the face. Y'all have a nice day.